All right, everyone. So, we've been talking a lot about animation this semester, and we've done a lot with 2D animation. Animating things, principles of animation, even using keyframing to help us speed up the process of animating. We've also done a little bit of rotoscoping, which is, somewhat related to 2D, which is the process typically of drawing over film. Okay, now we're going to take a little bit of a slight detour, just for about 1 week, and we're going to cover stop motion. Okay, so stop motion is another form of animation, and unlike, say, 2D animation, where you're drawing a character and you're exaggerating it, or even in rotoscoping, where you're taking video and drawing on top of it, and, you can decide whether or not you want to extend on that animation. With stop motion, there is no drawing at all. Instead, you're going to have an actual character. Okay, so think of it as like if you were going to position your G.I. Joes or your Barbie dolls or some other kind of character, and you're going to be, what we're going to be doing is taking pictures of them and moving them slightly, taking another picture, moving it slightly, taking another picture. So we're still doing, we're still working on animation and creating frames, but what we're going to be doing is working with actual objects, okay? So I'm not going to go, there's this really good video here I forget the company that did it, but basically it goes over some of the basics of modern stop motion, and it's a good video, and I think it gives some good behind the scenes, better than I could probably describe with my words. I recommend you watch it. It's pretty short. It's about 6 minutes. Stop motion really goes back to the beginning of film. Stop motion for a long time was used before you could have computer graphics. So think back, computer graphics, although been around since the 80s, in terms of creating special effects for like the sort of movies we watch nowadays, like Marvel movies and whatnot. Back before that, before computers could really have been used, if you wanted to have a fantastic creature, so to speak, you either had to build a rubber suit or you would do a lot of stop motion. So a lot of the early special effects for like monster movies and things like that, or movies that used very, fanciful characters and whatnot, use stop motion. So here's a scene from, I recommend you look at this scene from King Kong in 1933, where King Kong is basically a stop motion character. There was a guy named Ray Harryhausen. He was a very famous stop motion special effects artist in Hollywood from like, the 40s through the 70s, 80s, I think. He was very famous for doing stop motion effects. Here's another scene that I recommend you watch called, it's from the movie Jason and the Argonauts, where they fight skeletons, live action skeletons. And so, it's a mixture of live film mixed with stop motion graphics or stop motion animation to create a sort of compositing thing. Nowadays it would be all done with, computers, but back then that was not an option in the 60s. And, you can see some examples of some other stop motion stuff. Nightmare Before Christmas, Corpse Bride, Gumby back in the 70s. And these are all examples of movies where, they are built with actual characters. And you light a scene, and then you record. And so that's what we're going to be doing in this module, is learning how to do that. We're going to be using Tahoma2D. In order to help us out, we're going to work with a free piece of software, okay? So the software is called Iriun or Iriun. I'm not sure what exactly the pronunciation is. But basically what it allows you to do is turn your your smartphone into a video camera that can link to Tahoma2D, okay? So what you need to do is download this. There's a link in Canvas, and you can download it for Windows or Mac, depending on whatever you have. So you would download it for that, and then you need to download it for your smartphone, Okay, so if you have Android, go to the Play Store and look for Iriun Webcam. If you're a Mac, or if you have an iPhone, same thing. Just go to the the Apple Store and look for Iriun. And what will basically happen? All right, so what you need to do is, I'm just going to show you how this is going to work. So I actually, I already have the application installed on my Mac here on my OS X, and I'm running it. Then what you need to do is, run the same app on your smartphone, okay? Your smartphone is probably going to need permissions to be able to connect it, okay? And essentially, once you sort of connect them, this becomes basically a wireless webcam, which basically means we can record with this, and the imagery will go to our computer. And this is how we're going to record, use our camera or our smartphone as like as a film camera to do our stop motion. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to launch Tahoma2D. So I have Iriun running on my smartphone. I have it running also on my computer. If this is not a possibility for you, please contact me and we can find a way to do this. I can set it up probably at a computer at school. And I'm just going to create a new, actually what I'm going to do is in your Tahoma2D, you can go to stop motion. Okay. And then what you can do is under where it says camera, you can set it. There should be an option for Iriun Webcam. And if I click on that, so what you're seeing now is actually my phone looking around my office here in all of its dirty glory. Okay, so this is what we're going to be doing. I'm just going to stop doing this for a second. Okay. So what you want to do is you're going to set that up, and then what we're going to do is set up an actual scene, and then we are going to record it. Okay? So, take some time, watch some of those examples just to get an idea, and then download that software and connect it. When you go into Tahoma2D, make sure to click on the stop motion and then select Iriun Webcam. And then in the next video, I'm going to set up a scene, and I'm going to, like a physical scene, and we're going to record, okay?